Okay, so getting up again. It's a little bit of turbo lag. Super quick, like this is... Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a 2023 Volkswagen Taos. First and foremost, though, a huge shout out and thank you to the strong Volkswagen here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this Taos. They have this one and several others available for sale right now, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. Something that's awesome about the strong Volkswagen here in Salt Lake City, Utah is they do have a lifetime warranty, and you're just going to get a great deal on the product in general. And so if you need any help whatsoever, just ask for Alex. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 32 on the highway, with power outputs being 158 horsepower and then 184 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go to the front end of the Taos, and first off, I love this gray. It's like this really cool flat gray, and I don't know, it just gives it a nice appearance. But you can see distinctive raised portions there on either side of the hood. And then coming down below, this is pretty cool. So you can see we've got these LED headlamps with the daytime running lights, nothing too crazy there, but notice the daytime running light continues into the grille, and then you have a chrome strip there at the top, so it's all connected. I think that looks pretty cool, especially at night. You got the Volkswagen logo there, front and center, and then notice with the blacked out trim here off to the side and then also on the front. And when you put it all together, again, with that gray, it looks pretty neat. So coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 225, 45, 19 in the front and over in the rear. And I find the wheel design on the Taos absolutely fascinating because, well, you got the silver on the top and then darker coloration below that. That's not too crazy, but this has aerodynamic style wheels and it's non-EV, so it's kind of interesting that they've decided to go that route. But I do think that the wheels actually look really good. You've got the fender flares here, and notice that the molding continues all along the side. Taos logo here on the side, and then if we take a few steps back, you guys can see some of the body lines there and everything. Again, it's actually really cool looking. So here's a key fob for the Taos. You guys can see Volkswagen logo there on the back. We have our lock function, the unlock for the hatch remote start, and then just your general unlock. Now with the hatch itself, you just push that button right there. It is hydraulic, so it's not power. And well, you can see plenty of storage space back here. Got our Volkswagen first aid kit. I feel like that's the thing that every manufacturer's starting to do is first aid kits. Spare tire just underneath, and the loading floor is relatively low, which helps out, and they actually give you this handle to help with throwing it back down. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear. First off with the taillights here, you guys can see there with the turn signal indicator. I think they're pretty cool. You have these little like Ys in the taillights, and well, I'm pretty sure they stole that from Lamborghini, just saying. And then here's the rest of the badges. Notice Volkswagen logo in the center, of course. And I'm not sure why Volkswagen's doing this, but they have these like little cover areas that look like they'd be exhaust tips, but then the exhaust tips are, well, is actually underneath. It looks cool stylistically, but it's also kind of like, why? But there's the rear. Now popping inside, this is where things get pretty exciting. So first off, I think the door handle is pretty interesting in terms of the overall appearance. And then we have this like gray trim here, and then we actually get some padding here on the armrest area. Window control, pretty normal. And then here are the seats, and notice they combine the two colors together. They're perforated here in the center, which is pretty neat. And let's see what the space is like. Legroom's good. Yeah, this is very spacious in the passenger area. We've got the storage pocket there, got a couple of vents, USBs down below, and then we have our cup holder armrest situation. Here's a better look at the rear seat setup. Pretty cool, the two-tone design. Let's head to the front. So here's the front door panel, and this is pretty interesting. They actually have stitching now in the gray trim here, and this is actually padded, whereas the back was just like plastic, so interesting the difference front to rear. More padding down below. Blind spot monitoring here for the mirrors, and again, look at the door handle, the coloration there, and then all of our window controls here down below, and then your mirror adjustments, pretty standard stuff. And then here are these seats, again perforated all down the center, and then you can see at the bottom portion power adjustments here on the side, Taos logo yet again. Pedal layout pretty normal, nothing substantial there. Light controls here off to the side, and then again more of that stitching and padding. Let's pop in. So first off, here's our steering wheel for the Taos. You guys can see we've got nice soft touch trim all around, and then we got the contrasted stitching here in the center portion. I really like this new style of like Volkswagen airbag cover. I don't know what it is, but like it just looks a lot better than the previous version. And then, you know, turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock, normal stuff there. And then we do have adaptive cruise control with this, which is pretty cool. And then we've got controls for like the heated steering wheel, your voice command controls, some controls for the center as well. And well, there's the steering wheel. So here's our center gauge cluster. It's a full digital gauge cluster, and you can actually change the view. This is kind of like, I hate to say it this way, but it's kind of true. This is kind of like the budget version of Audi's virtual cockpit. But I will say that it looks really cool. Like the animation speed is really quick too when you like shift from menu to menu, as you can see, and I'm honestly a big fan. Now here's the center infotainment screen. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and you guys can see resolution is pretty solid. Now something I like about this infotainment screen is we've got like these analog controls here on either side, so like I can just press the little buttons to go and basically give myself a shortcut to different menus, which I think is nice. So like, let's press the car button, for example, and boom, takes us right over there. I guess that they assume that you'll be taking... This is cool, like, it even tells us the elevation. There are some off-road vehicles that you don't have that information with, so that is definitely fun. But we have to go through the drive modes, because Volkswagen has some pretty cool animations when you change drive modes. So you guys can see here, I change it into the snow mode, and then we have our normal mode, and if I press in, I can change through these different modes within normal, and I'll show you guys how to work the dial in a moment. And then we have, like, our off-road mode, and then you've got, like, your off-road custom as well. And so we have quite a few different drive modes to go through. Got nice stitching here on the dash, and then look at that metallic trim as well. And I will say I'm really impressed with like Volkswagen's like fit and finish. Like it doesn't have the feel that it used to have in the past. So this is really cool. Vents down below. We've got our climate controls here. This does have a dual zone climate system and, well, automatic climate controls. And then this is kind of like our charging area. So wireless phone, charging pad, USBs, all that. And then our engine stop start here with our parking brake, and then auto stop start. And then here's our shifter for that 7-speed dual clutch automatic. And then this is drive mode select. So you guys can see here, like that'll change the drive mode, but then if I press in when I'm in the normal mode, this will change between the drive modes within the normal, which is like the on-road drive modes. It's kind of complex, but also it's pretty simple. Anyways, got a couple cup holders right there, and then center console. Got some nice padding here on the armrest, and then here's the glove box. And then up top, we actually have a panoramic sunroof. Wow, that's neat. Controls to center for just right there. So first off, this is called pure gray for the color. So usually manufacturers will do like some crazy name, but you know, Volkswagen being German, they're just like, it's gray, okay? Anyways, you can see all of the standard equipment here with this car, and almost everything is standard. Warranty, by the way, 4-year, 50,000 mile new vehicle warranty. And then base MSRP $34,535. This does have a couple options, so the color isn't an upgrade in terms of a charge, but it looks like the first aid kit, for example, that's an upcharge. But anyways, after destination and all options, $36,048 is the total MSRP. Let's see how it drives. Let's quickly talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do a blind spot monitoring. And through the rest of the rear. And let's set off. I was setting off here in the Taos, and I realized that I don't think I mentioned this also has heated seats in the walk around. So yes, it doesn't in fact have heated seats. Also, I would like to mention, getting out of the strong Volkswagen, it like the road is so sloped here in this part of Salt Lake that it's kind of it's always a little bit scary getting up and moving. But anyways, that was my tripod, don't worry about it. Actually getting up and moving with the Taos, here's what I have to say about this dual clutches. At low speeds, it does sometimes do dual clutchy stuff where it's like slightly like, you know, jerky. It's not like crazy, but just a little bit. And you can feel it with the downshifts as you're stopping, but it's not like obnoxious or anything. You just can kind of feel what's happening. Now, aside from that, I do have it in the regular D drive mode, but I can also pull it down and put it into an S mode. We'll kind of see how that performs differently in just a moment. I do want to mention these seats are really comfortable. Actually, I like these seats. So typically in, you know, cars in this price range, you usually kind of, in today's world at least, you usually don't have comfortable seats like this. So I think that's pretty impressive. And I like the overall like interior design here with the Taos. It has, again, it definitely feels slightly more upscale than the price suggests. And it just, I don't know, it has this modern feel to it that, I don't know, I definitely appreciate. Let me see, okay, so the light's going here. Let me see if I can kind of, I don't know if it's gonna pop up on camera, but like it, because it's turbocharged and because it has the dual clutch, it kind of like, you get the little bit of turbo lag, and then so hopefully, like, just pay attention to the RPMs. Again, it kind of, there's like a little jump. Okay, well, it is really difficult to film here in Salt Lake right now because there are people like literally just in the middle of the street. Just getting down to the dealership, I like went through an intersection where two people just decided to crash. Like, Salt Lake's crazy nowadays. I don't know what's happening here. But some other stuff. Ride quality is actually really good here with the Taos, so I think that's another big positive. Yeah, the only thing that I can kind of feel is kind of interesting is that this dual clutch is not nearly as like refined feeling as the 8-speed automatic. Now, the only way to get the 8-speed automatic with the Taos is to get it with front wheel drive, but I feel like I'm going to like the dual clutch a bunch once we get an acceleration here in a bit. So I'm going to pop it into the S mode, which is kind of like your sportier transmission setting, and then we're going to pop it into the sport mode, and we'll see how that changes things. Okay, getting up and moving again, so in S mode and in the sport mode. Yeah, those gear shifts are very quick, so that's definitely a big benefit with that. And let's see how it comes, like coming up to a stop. Huh, that's interesting. So in the S mode, it doesn't do the annoying like dual clutch stuff. So it's more refined when you're in the sport mode. That is so strange. Okay, so getting up again. It's a little bit of turbo lag. Super quick. Like, this is, wow, amazingly responsive. It's a benefit of a dual clutch. I mean, this is basically like a lifted Golf. It's kind of what the Taos is with this engine transmission combo. It's kind of like a lifted Golf. This does keep the RPMs up a little bit higher, but I can pop it into the manual mode and I can just downshift myself. So then I can keep the RPMs lower. Or upshift myself, rather. I don't know why I said downshift. It's a Ben Hardy thing, just making stupid mistakes in videos. But I will say the downshifts seem to be... So like the upshifts are like super responsive. The downshifts, it seems like they kind of tuned it to be a little bit slower, so it's like smoother, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, let's sum things up here with the Taos. I'm just gonna put it back in automatic mode. So first off, I really like the styling, and you know, initially I wasn't so sure how I felt about Volkswagen's whole like front light bar thing, but the more that I see it, the more I actually kind of like it. And then, you know, from an interior perspective, I love this interior. Like, everything's really easy to use. It's all intuitive, and so like and it looks great. They did a good job. And then from when it comes to driving, here's the deal: is at low speeds, yeah, it does kind of feel somewhat dual clutchy. But if you just put it in the S mode, it seems like it gets rid of all of that like weird dual clutch stuff. Like, it's smooth. It doesn't do anything weird when you come to a stop. And I'll pop it into the normal mode again. So just doing normal driving. And then so normal but S mode basically with the transmission. Oh, so it's the sport mode that does the... No, actually, no, it's doing it. I'm trying to figure this out for you guys. Yeah, so if you just have it in the S mode, it doesn't do the weird dual clutchy stuff. It just acts normal. So that's cool. I'm overall big fan of the Taos, and I would rather have this than any of the crossovers in this segment that have a CVT. That's for sure. And so, you know, yeah, for the money, for the features you're getting, and for the transmission, and this is actually fun to drive, I think this is a really good value. That's gonna sum things up with the Volkswagen Taos. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the strong Volkswagen here in Salt Lake City, Utah, for giving me some time with this Taos. Like I said, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Alex. I'll see ya.